In the early hours of March 18, 1990, the streets of Boston were silent. The last traces of St. Patrick's Day celebrations lingered in the air. Laughter long faded, empty beer bottles glinting under the orange glow of street lamps. But behind the grand brick walls of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, something extraordinary was about to unfold. It would become the single greatest art theft in modern history, a crime so audacious, so mysterious, that it remains unsolved more than 3 decades later. 13 priceless works of art vanished into the night. Among them, masterpieces by Vermeer, Rembrandt, Degas, and Manet gone forever. Their total value, over $500 million. This is the story of the Museum of Fine Arts Heist, Boston Stolen Treasures. To understand the magnitude of what happened, we must first step back in time to the birth of the museum itself, and the woman whose name it bears. Isabella Stewart Gardner was no ordinary woman. Born in 1840 into New York high society, she possessed wealth, wit, and an unrelenting curiosity about art and culture. After marrying John Lowell Jack Gardner, she moved to Boston, where she soon became a fixture in the city's elite circles. But Isabella was not content to merely attend salons and operas. She wanted to build something, a temple to beauty, creativity, and imagination. In 1903, she opened her museum, a Venetian-style palace filled with paintings, sculptures, tapestries, and rare manuscripts. She lived on the top floor, surrounded by her treasures, and personally arranged every gallery. The courtyard overflowed with flowers and fountains. The walls shimmered with masterpieces by Rembrandt, Titian, and Botticelli. Isabella's museum wasn't just a collection, it was a vision of immortality. She left one strict condition in her will. Nothing inside the museum could ever be altered. The paintings were to remain exactly where she had placed them. If the layout was ever changed, her entire estate would be forfeited. It was a rule meant to preserve her creation forever, but that very rule would become a haunting symbol of what was lost one fateful night in 1990. At around 1:00 a.m. on March 18th, the night shift at the Gardner Museum was quiet. 2 young security guards were on duty: Rick Abarth, a 23-year-old art student and musician, and Randy Hestand, a part-timer filling in for another guard. The museum security system was simple but functional. Motion detectors, a set of exterior sensors, and a locked steel door that could only be opened by staff. Then, just after 1:20 a.m., a car pulled up outside the museum's side entrance. 2 men in full police uniforms stepped out, their badges glinting in the dim light. They passed the door and called out that they were responding to a disturbance. From his post at the security desk, Rick Abarth hesitated. Museum policy was clear. No one entered after hours. But seeing the flashing lights outside and the uniforms at the door, he made a fateful decision, one that would haunt him for life. He opened the door. "Gentlemen, we got a call about a disturbance," one of the officers said. "We need to come in and check it out." The moment they stepped inside, the ruse fell away. One of the fake policemen turned to Rick and said, "You look familiar. I think there's a warrant out for your arrest. Step away from the desk." Before he could respond, Rick found himself in handcuffs. The second guard was summoned downstairs, and soon both were duct-taped, bound, and gagged in the basement. For the next 81 minutes, the thieves had the museum entirely to themselves. They weren't in a hurry. They seemed to know exactly what they wanted. They first entered the Dutch Room, a gallery filled with priceless masterpieces. There, they cut 2 of Rembrandt's paintings directly from their frames, including The Storm on the Sea of Galilee, Rembrandt's only known seascape, and A Lady and Gentleman in Black. They tried to remove a self-portrait, but failed, leaving it behind. Then they turned to a small painting by Vermeer, The Concert. Only 36 Vermeers are known to exist in the world, and this one was among the rarest. It vanished into the thieves' bag, never to be seen again. They slashed landscape with an obelisk by Govert Flink, a student of Rembrandt, from its frame, and removed a Chinese bronze beaker known as a gu. From the short gallery, they took 5 drawings by Edgar Degas depicting horse races and ballet scenes, delicate sketches now lost to time. In the Blue Room, they stole Chez Tortoni by Degas Manet, a small but valuable painting of a Parisian CAF. Curiously, this was the only piece taken from the first floor, and it happened to be near the office of the museum's motion sensors, suggesting the thieves may have reviewed the layout in advance. Before leaving, they returned to the security office, removed the surveillance tapes, and stole the printout of the motion detector log. When they finally departed at 2:45 a.m., the museum was silent. Once again, 13 works of art missing, their empty frames left hanging on the walls like open wounds. The next morning, when staff arrived, they found the guards bound in the basement. The alarm hadn't sounded, the locks were intact, and there was no sign of forced entry. Only the missing paintings told the story. The FBI was immediately called in. From the beginning, investigators suspected an inside job. The thieves had moved confidently, avoiding motion detectors in certain rooms while spending long minutes in others. They had known exactly when to strike the night after St. Patrick's Day, when Boston police were stretched thin and the city was distracted by celebrations. But identifying the culprits proved impossible. No fingerprints, no DNA, and no credible leads. The security footage was gone. The guards were interviewed extensively, but nothing solid emerged. Rick Barth, in particular, became a figure of controversy. His decision to open the door to fake police raised suspicion, but he maintained his innocence until his death decades later. Rumors spread quickly. Some speculated the heist was the work of Boston's Irish mob, possibly linked to the notorious gangster James Whitey Bulger. Others suggested it was the handiwork of international art thieves, or even corrupt insiders hoping to ransom the works back. But years passed, and no ransom came. No painting surfaced. The Gardner Museum offered a $1 million reward, later raised to $10 million for any information leading to the return of the stolen art. Even with that staggering incentive, silence persisted. What made the case especially strange was what the thieves left behind. They ignored countless other valuable works, Titian's Rape of Europa, Botticelli's Madonna and Child, and dozens more. Instead, they chose a peculiar mix of pieces, some famous, some obscure. Why? Experts debated whether the robbers truly understood what they were stealing. The cutting of canvases, the rough handling all suggested amateurs. Yet the precision of their timing and their knowledge of the museum layout pointed to professionals. Theories multiplied. One pointed to a small-time Boston criminal ring led by Carmelo Molino, who boasted about being able to return the paintings for a price. Another focused on Robert "Bobby" Donati, a mob associate who may have orchestrated the theft to secure the release of a fellow gangster. Donati was murdered a year later. In the 2000s, the FBI turned its attention to two men, George Riesfelder and Leonard DiMuzio, both with two eyes to organized crime. Both were dead by the time they were publicly named. In 2013, the FBI announced that it had identified the culprits to members of a New England criminal organization but refused to release their names. The agency stated that both men were deceased and that the artworks were believed to have changed hands multiple times, possibly moving through Connecticut and Philadelphia before disappearing entirely. To this day, none of the 13 pieces have been recovered. Their estimated value now exceeds $600 million. Inside the Gardner Museum, the empty frames still hang on the walls, preserved as Isabella Stewart Gardner demanded a haunting reminder of what was lost and what might one day return. Visitors walk past them in silence. For many, the absence is more powerful than any painting could ever be. The Gardner Heist endures as a symbol of mystery and obsession, an unsolved riddle that blends art, greed, and the fragility of human genius. It has inspired countless documentaries, books, and investigations, each chasing a ghost that always seems just out of reach. And yet, every few years, a rumor resurfaces, a tip is called in, a whisper emerges from the criminal underworld. Perhaps the paintings lie hidden in a warehouse, their colors fading in the dark. Perhaps they were destroyed, last forever, or perhaps just maybe they are waiting to be found. In the end, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum stands as both a shrine and a crime scene. The stolen treasures of Boston remain missing, their beauty immortalized only by memory. And for investigators, art lovers, and dreamers alike, the case endures as a question that refuses to fade. How can something so priceless simply disappear? Because in this story, the greatest masterpiece may be the crime itself. Thank you for watching Crimes Through Time. If this story fascinated you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more journeys into history's darkest mysteries. And tell us in the comments, do you think Adelaide Bartlett was truly innocent? Or did she get away with the perfect crime? We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay curious, stay safe,